Khan. Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. A double honors to the beloved elders and apostles of the Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom, shalom, beloved Akim and Akwah. It's just by on back again through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power. Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai. And through the spirit, what I wanted to do real quick was tap into a video that came across my feed yesterday when I was at the plantation with your boy Trump, all right, spewing madness, man, as he usually does, as these Edomites do. You know, they're at a point now, that they're pretty much, Esau's pretty much letting it all hang out. This man's been in the position, the Edomites have been in the position of power for quite some time now, and pretty much the power's gone to their head. So they pretty much, they speak, rash, they just, whatever comes to mind, they say it. They're in this unstoppable spirit, and to be quite frank with you, until Yahweh Shai deals with it, they are unstoppable. Esau's in a position, where he's been granted access, to his blessing. So this is why he's in a position where the Lord's showing him favor, allowing him to be in a position that he's in. But unbeknownst to Esau, all right, there's a date with destiny, you see, that he has with Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai. But this man's in a position now where his world is pretty much crumbling before him. This is back in times past, if you're wondering, this video related to Trump is, talking to the whole Greenland situation. But needless to say, back in times past, all right, it wouldn't be complicated, all right, for Babylon the Great to annex, all right, a nation, especially that's on, their frontier, their hemisphere. But, any land that's pretty much in their general location via the hemisphere, it wouldn't be an issue for them to just say, you know what, we need that right there. We need to set up some garrisons right there. We need to take that. And there will be no questions asked. Hence why there's over 800 garrisons all over the earth, Babylon garrisons, man. But now, in these latter days, all right, Evil East having an issue taking Greenland. Babylon the Great, I should say, is having an issue taking Greenland. Why? Because we're in the time of the great division. All right, we're in the time where the Lord is causing tensions, all right, within the Edomite regime. All right, this is what it is. This is the time we're in, right? We're in the time of the fall of the Edomites. So this is what it looks like. Things get complicated. You no longer see eye to eye. But again, where we stand in prophecy right now. Let me get something real quick through this before I get this clip. I want to open up with this real quick. Right, the book of where is it? Let me see here. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49. Real quick, hence the title, right? In verse 16, it reads, "Thy terribleness." Matter of fact, I'm gonna start up. Verse 7, right? Jeremiah 49:7, concerning Edom, right, which is a self-proclaimed white man. All right, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, Yahweh of armies, man. Is wisdom no more in Teman, which the Germans will be your modern day Temanites, the wiser of the Edomites, right? Is counsel perished from the prudent? Is their wisdom vanished? Hence, the tensions that are being created throughout the whole Edomite regime. All right, you got Trump, which is a poster child of Babylon, speaking down on NATO, speaking down on the EU, which Scripture says this is how they move regarding their contemporaries. They pretty much puffeth at them. you know, because again, Babylon the Great has been that golden cup in Yahweh's hand. You see, this is the hammer of the earth. All right, and this is why they exercise this type of behavior. But check it out, the way they're moving now, they're moving with a lack of discernment, really. You know, because at the end of the day, you know, the moves that they're making, all right, is detrimental, all right, to their future, which Babylon has no future. We know this. And this is all part of the plan. You see? This is all part of the plan. This is all part of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai's plan. Right? Check it out. Jumping down to verse, I'm going to read that again. Concerning Edom, let's say the Lord Yahweh of hosts. Is wisdom no more in teeming? Is counsel perish from the prudent? Is wisdom vanished? These are questions. And the answer to this question, yes. To all three of those questions, the answer is yes. All right, we're in the time where now Esau has lost the little bit of prudence he did have through wickedness. It's ceasing. So now this nigga's gonna lean upon that sword, and as we see him doing now. But anyways, look at jumping down to verse 16. Thy terribleness has deceived thee. You see, and the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock. All right, so Esau's pride, Esau's terribleness has got him under this delusional mindset. All right, because again, everything that these people have done, they have yet to be checked for it. You see, so they're in this unstoppable mindset. You got to wait until you listen to this dude's talking point. Right, look at thy terribleness has deceived thee in the pride of thine heart, O thou that dwellest in the cliffs of the rock. Right, Esau dwelt in Petra. Esau dwelt in the Caucasus, man. Right, he has that history of a caveman. All right, Job the 30th chapter. Right, that holdest the height of the hill. Right, because he's the head heathen. Right, look at thou, even though he's the least, even though he's the third part of man, even though he's a base man, a base on at this point in time, he is the head heathen. Okay, Esau is living out his blessing that he received, or that he was granted access to back in Genesis the 27th chapter, and now it fulfilled itself via the Renaissance period. This is why this man is. That's why it seems like this dude can't be stopped. Because again, as I mentioned in the beginning of the lesson, the Lord showing him favor. He's in his blessing. The Lord is a man of his word, man. He will not move or stir until the said measures be fulfilled. Esau's just got to live out his moment, his little season. Right? Let's continue on. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle. All right, and when you go into this word nest, right? Let me read this out. Though thou shouldest make thy nest as high as the eagle, I will bring thee down from thence, saith the Lord Yahweh. And what's heavy, right? For edification, real quick, through the Spirit. When you get this word nest, right? Bear with me, Yaki Amanakwa. When you get this word nest, right? When you get this word nest, right, under a synonym, right? It goes into what? An emplaced group of weapons, bro. All right? An emplaced group of weapons, man. That's what that nest is going into. And we know this nigga got the Space Force. This nigga got direct energy weapons all throughout the heavens via those satellites. You know? Because again, he's getting ready for the return of Yahushua, is what he's doing ultimately. You see, he's got the space station. Right? So, though he has set his nest up in the heavens, right? And this is why he has control of the airspace. Because again, that was all part of his blessing. Right? He will have what? The fatness of the earth, which goes into the resources, the oil, you know, all the subsidy. He will be sovereign on the planet. And then he has the dual heaven as well, which he will be granted access to the airspace. This is why you can't fly it internationally unless you know how to speak this bastard tongue. Right? This is all the reality of why Esau's in a position where he thinks he can't be stopped. Right? Look at. I'm going to give verse 17 as well. Back in Jeremiah 49 and 17. Also, Edom, all right, shall be a desolation. Everyone that goeth by it shall be astonished and shall hiss at all the plagues thereof. And Edom, this is talking to Babylon the Great, bro. Edom shall be a desolation, talking about this landmass. Esau is Edom. Remember that. Pursuing the Genesis, the 36th chapter in the first verse, right? It's going to be a desolation, bro, and an astonishment. This is the end. And shall hiss at all the plagues, right? That plagues thereof. Now, we know the Lord's going to send those 10 plagues as before, all right, as it's written in 2nd Ezra. He's going to send those, because this is spiritual Egypt. The Lord's going to send them 10 plagues this time, but they're going to come in their perfection. And ultimately, those missiles are also likened unto the plagues as well. Those missiles are likened unto a plague when you in Revelations. You see, and ultimately, that's the plague that's ultimately going to turn this place into a desolation. The missiles, man. All right, and this is what all this we see, all this tension we see on the earth. What we're about to show you right now, all this is leading up to that moment. Now, real quick, let me get this clip real quick. Yeah, man, Esau's pride has deceived him. Bear with me. And shalom to you, beloved Akiyam and Akwath on the comment board. And then they're going to tune in later. Hey, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Barakatham. To you, beloved Akiyam and Akwath. Now, I'm going to let this video play. This is fair use, fair use. All right, this is for educational purposes only and for the sake of prophecy. All right, I'm not making any monetary gain off of this clip. All right, this is fair use, fair use. Let me just bring this back now. This is your boy Trump, at the World Economic Forum. All right, talking some heavy stuff, coming out of his neck, man. Hey, but again, you can't expect anything less from an Edomite. Especially this cruel Lord, that has been set up in these last days. What should we expect, right? Bear with me. This thing is doing this thing. Bear with me, Akiyam and Akwa. Come on, man. Here we go. So I'm going to take this. I might just play it like this. Because this thing is acting up. Bear with me, Akiyam and Akwa. It was only a matter of time. I might just do it off the phone. Let me see here. Yeah, I think I'm better off. As a matter of fact.
Would you like me to say a few words?
Yeah, let's do this. I don't know why that won't tilt. Now this won't tilt. Let me see something real quick. Y'all just run it like this. It's all good. Listen to this dude.
Would you like me to say a few words of Greenland? I was going to leave it out of the speech, but I think I would have been reviewed very negatively. I have tremendous respect for both the people of Greenland and the people of Denmark. Tremendous respect. But every NATO ally has an obligation to be able to defend their own territory. And the fact is, no nation or group of nations is in any position to be able to secure Greenland other than the United States. We're a great power, much greater than people even understand. I think they found that out 2 weeks ago in Venezuela. We saw this in World War II, when Denmark fell to Germany after just 6 hours of fighting and was totally unable to defend either itself or Greenland. So the United States was then compelled. We did it. We felt an obligation to do it. to send our own forces to hold the Greenland territory. And hold it we did, at great cost and expense. They didn't have a chance of getting on it, and they tried. Denmark knows that. We literally set up bases on Greenland for Denmark. We fought for Denmark. We weren't fighting for anyone else. We were fighting to save it for Denmark. Big, beautiful piece of ice. It's hard to call it land. It's a big piece of ice. But we saved Greenland and successfully prevented our enemies from gaining a foothold in our hemisphere. So we did it for ourselves also. And then after the war, which we won it big. Without us, right now you'd all be speaking German and a little Japanese, perhaps. After the war, we gave Greenland back to Denmark. How stupid were we to do that? But we did it. But we gave it back. But how ungrateful are they now? So now our country and the world face much greater risks than it did ever before because of missiles, because of nuclear, because of weapons of warfare that I can't even talk about. 2 weeks ago, they saw weapons that nobody ever heard of. They weren't able to fire one shot at us. They said, what happened? Everything was discombobulated. They said, we've got them in our sights. Press the trigger, and nothing happened. No anti-aircraft missiles went up. There was one that went up about 30 feet and crashed down right next to the people that sent it. They said, what the hell is going on? Those defensive systems were made by Russia and by China. So they're going to go back to the drawing boards, I guess. Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory. It's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important nearly when we gave it back. When we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth. No such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing. But there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it. We need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere. And we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. For 2 centuries they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however. In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses. But as you know, they spent less than 1% of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there. And I say that with great respect for Denmark, whose people I love, whose leaders are very good. It's the United States alone that can protect this giant mass of land, this giant piece of ice, develop it and improve it and make it so that it's good for Europe and safe for Europe and good for us. And that's the reason I'm seeking immediate negotiations to once again discuss the acquisition of Greenland by the United States, just as we have acquired many other territories throughout our history, as many of the European nations have. They've acquired. There's nothing wrong with it. Many of them, some went in reverse, actually, if you look. Some had great, vast wealth, great, vast lands all over the world. They went in reverse. They're stuck back where they started. That happens too. But some grow. But this would not be a threat to NATO. This would greatly enhance the security of the entire alliance, the NATO alliance. The United States is treated very unfairly by NATO. I want to tell you that. And when you think about it, nobody can dispute it. We give so much and we get so little in return. And I've been a critic of NATO for many years. And yet I've done more to help NATO than any other president by far, than any other person. You wouldn't have NATO if I didn't get involved in my first term. We never asked for anything, and we never got anything. We probably won't get anything unless I decide to use excessive strength and force where we would be, frankly, unstoppable. But I won't do that.
Right, hold on.
Okay.
But he won't do it, though. But that was an idle threat. But he won't do it, though. But you heard him, though. That was an idle threat. You know? Man, this guy, man, Babylon, man, hey, their terribleness has deceived them. Okay, let me get a quick precept real quick. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 73, right? In verse 3, and I'm going to jump down. And this is a psalm of Asaph, right? For I was envious of the foolish when I saw the prosperity of the wicked, which we know that's talking to Esau, Edom, right? The Edomites, right? The self-proclaimed white man, woman, and child. Listen, I'm going to jump down to verse, where is it? 9, right? They set their mouth against the heavens, right? Where is it? I'm sorry, I lost my spot. They set their mouth against the heavens and their tongue walking through the earth, bro. All right, this dude is on Esau is on a whole different level of mindset of proud. This is why the scriptures highlight him as the proudest. He's the proudest, bro. All right, he's the proudest, man. He's the proudest creature the Lord created. And you see it in his stance, man. And you heard him? He said, you wouldn't have a NATO if it wasn't for America, man. Hold on, let me get one more before we get this. I'm going to get a little more of this clip. Just a little bit more. Right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 10. In verse 3, I'm going to jump down. Right? For the wicked, right, boasteth in his heart's desire. Right? And blessed the covetous whom the Lord Yahweh abhorreth, bro. To the point of me bringing that out is the wicked, what they boasted in their heart's desire. This dude's boasting in what America has achieved. You know, they went conquering territories, and it was all in wickedness, bro. It was all through death, robbery, right, bloodshed, you know. But they're boasting in it. But again, there's a penalty to pay for what you've done. But I'm jumping down, right, to verse 5. His ways are always grievous. Thy judgments are far above out of his sight. As for all his enemies, he puffeth at them. And we're witnessing this firsthand, right? In this video. All right, yeah, I'm short on time. Let me play a little bit more of this Aki Amenakwat, and I gotta fly.
Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made. Because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force. All the United States is asking for is a place called Greenland, where we already had it as a trustee, but respectfully returned it back to Denmark not long ago after we defeated the Germans, the Japanese, the Italians, and others in World War II. We gave it back to them. We were a powerful force then, but we are a much more powerful force now. After I rebuilt the military in my first term and continue to do so today, we have a budget of $1.5 trillion. We're bringing back battleships. The battleship is 100 times more powerful than the great battleships you saw in World War II, those great, big, gorgeous ships, the Missouri, the Iowa, the Alabama. Because I thought maybe we could take them out of mothballs. They said, no, sir, these ships are 100, think of that, 100 times more powerful than those big, magnificent pieces of art that you saw so many times ago, that you still see on television. You say, wow, what a force. 100 times.
So you see him. Hey, his pride has deceived him, man. All right, Esau's in a delusional state. We're going to close out with this. I got to close out abruptly. Aki Amenakwat, forgive me. There's the book of Obadiah, right? Chapter 1, the only chapter, right? I'm going to start at verse 6 and read down. How are the things of Esau searched out? right? How are his hidden things sought up through the Spirit of the Lord, right? Through the Spirit of the Lord, through his counsel, through the Lord's counsel, which is the servants, the prophets. You see, we're declaring Esau's way to his face. And ultimately, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is going to come and repay him for everything that he has done. Right? Check it out. All the men of that confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. Right? So his allies are going to ultimately turn against him, which his allies consist of the NATO and the EU. This is what we're seeing, these tensions. And it's pursuing the biblical prophecy, they're going to prevail against him. Right? They that eat thy bread, right, that deal with you via your money, right, have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him, man. Why? Because his pride has deceived him a little more. Shall I not in that day, say of the Lord Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, right? And understanding out of the mount of Esau, bro. So yeah, man, these damn demons have a date with destiny, man. This is their last hoorah. All right, we're living in the last moments, but we're going to have to sit back and listen to this rhetoric. All right, because that's all it is rhetoric, man. All right? The Lord's coming to serve you people, you Edomites, starting with you Edomites, right? Trickling all the way down to the rest of you heathen and you regular Joe six-packs. And hey, you 230 you niggas that want to join onto these heathen as well. Judgment, but Esau, you're the talking point. The Lord's got you on his scopeo, right? Isaiah 63. So yeah, man, hey, Lord willing you beloved, Akiam and Akwak were edified. Hey, Lord willing you were spiritually fed, Abaratazah. Hey, Lord willing you were informed. And these demons are on the move. But all they're doing is pretty much they're working in desperation. All right. And we're witnessing the separation, right, of a major empire, the greatest heathen empire that ever was erected, man. So yeah, man, hey, all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone where I learned this 144% truth. Until next time, beloved Akim and Akwa, Shalom.